is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. Today we're going to talk about the New York Knicks, one of the most popularist topics of this season. Everybody been talking about the Knicks since they lost out on a Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in free agency, and the things they did after free agency wasn't significant, and then the firing of David Fizdale didn't help their case or their team with negative, talking all about them this whole season from the start to even the beginning in the summer. But when you look at this team, they have a lot of young talent. They got a lot of players that's promising when it comes to athleticism, when it comes to versatility and upside. But as we done seen the last couple of seasons, nobody has really developed outside of Kristaps Porzingis to being a productive player for the New York Knicks and somebody that they actually have future and actually hope they can become one of the best players in the league. And obviously, when we seen Kristaps Porzingis the last time he played with the Knicks, he was able to make it to an All-Star team. And that was pretty big for the Knicks because they haven't had an All-Star in years. And he really had people around New York excited about where they was going in the future because they was in the playoff race also. So it gave you some hope and some excitement that Porzingis can be something special for you guys as you continue to wait upon y'all getting back to the playoffs and possibly becoming a championship organization again in the 2000s. But the problem was they obviously traded Kristaps Porzingis for more young pieces and picks, and now they have went further, in my opinion, back in the development of trying to win a title and trying to get on the right track. But I do understand it because Porzingis did come off an ACL injury, and he was a big guy, and he didn't want to be there anyway. Plus, he hasn't really been playing that great in Dallas anyway, even though he'll get more shots than opportunity with the Knicks. But with the Mavericks, with other, better coaching, better players, and a superstar player in Doncic, he hasn't really been able to find his consistent footing just yet. But it is going to take him some time and fairness to get back to where he was before pre-injury. And we'll see if Porzingis is able to raise his play and raise his game as the seasons go on, and really show that he was worth that top 10 pick that Phil Jackson did to get him. And so far, it looks like the Mavericks aren't complaining. They're happy with what they're seeing at this point in time, which I really won't blame them because they're still winning. And he's still making somewhat of a contribution coming off the ACL injury to be a productive player. But one problem right now with the New York Knicks is that when you look at this roster, you see R.J. Barrett struggling. You see guys like Dennis Smith Jr. having the worst season of his career. Mitchell Robinson hasn't took that big step forward so far as a development as a player. He's showing that he can be on the court a lot more. He's showing that he can be solid. But at the same time, we expected him to be a whole lot better, especially defensively, than he has been so far this season with the New York Knicks. But one guy I really want to talk about is Frank Ntilikina. This is a guy that people are really torn about because of his upside. This is a guy that just showed you in the FIBA Cup that he can really be a difference maker defensively. He's shown that since he's been with the Knicks day one, but he hasn't been able to continue that for a long stretch of time. He shows that he can be a two-way player. He shows sometimes that he can be one of the best defenders on the perimeter in the entire league. Plus, the thing that we always see is that he's 6'4", 200 pounds. Great size, great athleticism, and then the fact that he's only 21 years old makes it even more enticing to hold out on him just because of that upside in that age that even if he doesn't play well, he's not going to get a big contract because he hasn't played up to being able to get one. Plus, he still has good upside at his age and what he has shown so far as a Knick and as he's been overseas. C's, and that's how he got drafted from the jump. So I'm really interested in seeing what they're going to do with Frank Ntilikina because he does have some values, and teams going to really want to take a flyer on him just because of his age and just because he is a great defender already at his age. And you can continue to build upon that with the right structure and the right system and the right development staff. Frank Ntilikina can be a guy that can really shock and surprise a lot of organizations if they can get their hands on him. And like I said, he does suffer from poor floor spacing on the Knicks. He does suffer with poor coaching on the Knicks. Plus, he just don't have the opportunities that he has had in other seasons to really show his improvement and show his development and show that he can still be a contributor on a good team. This is a guy that has only played 3 seasons, and all 3 of those seasons, he hasn't really shot the ball well, which we knew coming into the season that he wasn't a great shooter. His career field goal percentage is 36% from the field. His career three-point shooting is only 31% from the field. His career points per game is only 5 points. This is a guy that has never got over 30 points per game. 30 minutes per game. This is a guy that has never really been a great, building block for the future because he was so behind development wise when he came into the NBA, and he had a lot of questions, and so far he has looked like a bust. He looks like a guy you cannot really depend on. He looks like a guy that you can't really give minutes to because he's not going to make that much of an impact on winning, and that's what it's all about in the NBA. And so far he still hasn't shown that upside offensively that we would think he would in year 3. He hasn't shown that growth as a scorer and as a shooter so far in the NBA in year 3, and that's concerning. And that's why I bring up the money. If this guy shows the defense that he's shown, he does show that he got a part and a thing he can build upon in the NBA, and he has a skill set that can help him stay in the NBA even if he can't shoot. And even though he's not a great passer either for that point guard position, he can guard twos because he does have the mobility and the heart and the IQ to be able to do that. The problem is he hasn't been able to show anything offensively, which now in the pace and space era, he will be a guy that you would sag off on. He will be a guy that will help clog up the paint for your opponent. And that's just because he can't shoot, and you rather have him shoot than them getting a good shot. And that means you're a double team and trap a lot more. And then Keenan would be the guy you have to leave open, which is a detriment to your team offensively because you don't even believe he can do it just because he hasn't even shot, respectable from 3 so far, or just from mid-range in general. He hasn't shot good either. Plus, Frank Ntilikina hasn't really shown a growth as a finisher, so his offense was far behind, and we knew that coming into the draft, but we didn't know it would take him 2 more seasons of development to not even take a step forward in any of those offensive categories and things that he had to learn how to build upon. So I am curious to see what the Knicks is going to do with him just because of his age and just because of his upside. But what can you really get for him? Is you willing to trade him for a first-round pick? Is you really to trade him for 2 second-round picks? What is the market and what is really out there for the Knicks to get something for Ntilikina, because you don't really want to keep him around if he doesn't continue to develop. You want to get something in return, or at least a chance to get somebody else in another draft that can give you something more than what Ntilikina, and probably you can even find somebody with more upside depending what type of draft pick you get back for Ntilikina. Plus, you get more salary if you take a pick back instead of just trying to take somebody back contract-wise just to get Ntilikina traded. So to me, I really don't know what they're going to do with him. I can say the same thing with Dennis Smith Jr. I can say the same thing with Kevin Knox. A lot of these guys are so far behind that you won't know what they're going to be 3 to 4 years later. The problem with Ntilikina is he is 3 years later in the NBA. He hasn't really shown any growth or any progress, and hopefully the Knicks can really find something because it seems like they're not getting any big name free agents. It seems like nobody outside of Carmelo and Amari, and it mainly was for the money for Amari, that wants to come here and be an all-star or carry this team back to the playoffs. And the last guy they had was Porzingis, and he wanted out of the Knicks. And now they got to find a guy like him all over again, even if it's through the draft. But a lot of players want to be in New York just because it's New York, just because it's the Mecca. But outside of that, nobody's really running there. And you look at the last 20, 25 years, and it's proved So they are going to have to develop through the draft. And they are going to have to wait and make trades to really increase this roster. And a lot of these young players are intriguing, but they don't have that much value because when they play, they haven't shown anything so far. And most of these guys can't shoot consistently. And like I said, we're in the NBA where pace and space is the most important thing. And a lot of these guys can't get to the rim and finish consistently or knock down a mid range or 3-point jump shot consistently, which really hurts their value. But their age is the only thing that helps their value because you'll be fooled, with fool's gold. I got a young player upside, but then again, if you can't fix them, it's a waste of a first round pick, and you're gonna have to pay that just to get one of these guys off your roster, including Frank Ntilikina. But let me know what you guys think. Is Dennis Smith Jr. a bust? Is Kevin Knox going to be a bust? Is Frank Ntilikina a bust? Whatever you guys feel about Ntilikina, let me know because I think that he has some potential. But I said that as a rookie, and he hasn't shown the improvement. But at the same time, you never know. He probably need a change of scenery. He might need a new coach. He might need a new situation to really get the best out of him and get the best out of his development. And it might not be in New York. But as New York fans, let me know. Do y'all want to keep Frank? Because I seen y'all cheering for him. Or do you think he's done? Because you're going to have to pay this guy his money and you have to give him an extension. But do you really want to keep him around? Do you really think that he can develop? Or do you think he is what he is at this point? And that's a tough thing and a tough pill to swallow if you're a Knicks fan, because this was supposed to be one of your big picks. This was supposed to be one of your big guys with upside that can really change the franchise around, especially on the perimeter, because the Knicks don't have any defenders still at this point in time on their roster, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way they built it. And now they're in a situation where they're stuck because their young guys ain't getting enough playing time, plus they're not that good anyway. And I was like, what is I supposed to do? And you can actually blame that on the GM and James Dolan and the coach and the development staff for not getting their job done either. So they do. So we'll see if they make those changes, and if they don't, they're gonna be stuck in the same situation for years to come. But we'll see. Let me know what you guys think though about the Knicks, Nina Keenan, and their young prospects in the comment section below. Remember, I read all comments. Like this video, check out my older videos on my channel. I have many playlists. I break down rookies, I break down players, I break down summer league. I do cover the draft, and I got a mock draft up already. Not only that, I do podcasts, and I also talk about the game of basketball, whether it comes to summer league, free agency, trade deadline, buyouts, and also I cover top 10 discussions and stuff like that. So you like this type of video, you like the NBA, check out my older videos and my playlists. I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching.